And welcome back to a Monday night edition of the OHIO Podcast Roundtable Discussion Show, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Buckeye Boggs, aka the Podfather, and you are you, and we're thankful you decided to lock in tonight and enjoy another evening of the OHIO Podcast with us. Tonight's episode is brought to you by A Place at Home Senior Care. If you've got a loved one recovering from a recent hospitalization, stroke, or fall, or living with dementia and needing support at home, A Place at Home Dublin provides home care supportive services like bathing, dressing, mobility assistance, and medication reminders, all from the comfort of home. Learn more at their website, aplaceathome.com/Dublin. Again, that's aplaceathome.com/Dublin, or call them 740-472-8181. We want to remind everybody the magazine is in limited edition. We only have so many copies. You can order yours for only $30. We'll send it in the mail to you. To order it, just email me, theohiopodcast@gmail.com. It's a fantastic magazine, and obviously it helps keep us in business as well. And finally, we would love to have you all check out the website, theohiopodcast.com. Articles, links, social media links, videos, the podcast. It's all there on the website, theohiopodcast.com. Joining us this evening for our panel, they just got done recording episode number 2 of the Buckeye Zone. That it would be Sean Schrock, Knoxville Nate, and former Ohio State Buckeye EJ Underwood. Sean, we'll start with you. How you doing this evening, buddy?
Doing great. It was another great show with my boys Knoxville Nate and EJ. Had a blast. Just having a great time, man. Thanks for giving us a spot, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Good to have you. Nate, welcome back in, my man.
Hey, good to see you, Mr. Boggs. Happy to be here. Great show tonight. Talking a little bit about Indiana and a little hot water that they are in, possibly playing an ineligible player. So go over to the Buckeye Zone and check out the pod. We also broke down the 11 Buckeyes who are at the Combine. So make sure to catch that.
EJ, former Buckeye, what's up, my man? Good to see you tonight.
Hey man, nice to see you again too, Eric. I'm excited for this to be on the show, man, and I'm looking forward to the great topics that we're about to discuss.
Yes, it's going to be a great show tonight. Let's get right into it. Let's just dive right into it. So, breaking news today, although I'm not going to lie, when I saw it and everybody was like, it's breaking news, I was like, is it really? Like, come on, guys. Like, we all knew he wasn't really going anywhere. Like, I'm pretty sure if Matt Patricia was going back to the NFL, we would have heard about it already. He would have left. He would have been a part of one of those coaching staffs that have been turned over. Let me turn my mic down a little bit. Sorry, I'm a little bit too loud in your guys' ears tonight. Just now realized that. My apologies. But he stays in Columbus, Ohio. Now, Matt Patricia says he loves Columbus, Ohio. He said his family loves Columbus, Ohio. Apparently, his kids love it in Columbus, Ohio. And I mean, after living in Detroit, Michigan, I would imagine that living in Columbus, Ohio does indeed feel like it's the greatest place on earth, having lived in that cesspool for a while. But that being said, I will say this. It is good to have Matty P back because we're replacing 8 starters on defense, guys. And it behooves us to have someone with his mind and intelligence running the defense. Now, EJ, you played for Ohio State, my man. I got to imagine that having continuity in the defense in whatever scheme you're running is important. How important is it with so much turnover in the starting lineup defensively, getting the man who's running that defense back for this upcoming season?
Oh, it's a huge thing, whether you're a college kid or you're a professional athlete. If every year you're going in, you have a different D coordinator or a different OC, like that hurts your development. You know, at the end of the day, I think the Buckeyes are going to be great and what keeping him around for at least a couple more years. Like let's keep Matt in for at least like 5, 6, 7 years. Like, and if we do, I guarantee you, we will win multiple national champion because we got him as one of the best defensive minds out there. The biggest advantage that he had too, we were such a great defense. We got an opportunity to have our young guys play. So we got a lot of guys who are going to be like stepping into the shoes, but they were already doing that. Now they're going to be a starter. Now others are going to be competing to become a starter or get a lot of playing time. You know, like I just love defense. I'm a little biased, so I can't help that. But man, oh man, having a coach like him, be able to learn from him. These guys, who are going to go into the draft, they're going to have a big time advantage already because you're talking about a guy who won Super Bowls, well, one of the greatest like organizations in football history. So yeah, man, another great win for us. Like I said, I hope he stays for at least almost a decade. But he's gonna be so good. Like we're gonna be talking about next year, Matt Patricia for some type of head coaching spot. The guy's a wonderful coach, and I'm glad he's sticking around.
Nate?
Yeah, man. This guy is no slouch. I know things didn't go as planned in Detroit, but as EJ said, he won 3 Super Bowls under Bill Belichick. That wasn't a slouch. That wasn't a joke. He got it done. So no one can ever take that away from him. And then, what he did last year was pretty amazing. And obviously this wasn't like breaking news that he's coming back, but that fact that we went out and got him to come back and we're keeping that continuity is definitely huge. Last year we led the nation in scoring and total defense, holding opponents to 9.3 points per game and 219 yards. That is tops in college football since 2011, which was the Alabama Crimson Tide, which that was that team with Dante Hightower and Mark Barron and Courtney Upshaw and Drake Kirkpatrick and C.J. Mosley and Clinton Dix and all those guys. So the fact that we were able to do that this year after losing 17 guys to the NFL and winning a national championship, I think tells you what kind of coach Patricia is. And just the ability to take guys that a lot of them hadn't started before. And as I've mentioned before on the show, I was most concerned with that D-line flipping all 4 starters. And really, I think this group might have been even maybe a little bit better. And that's scary to say, but he got it done and he deserved to get a raise. They're saying that he probably is going to be making around $3 million. He originally signed a 3-year contract for $2.5 million, and we're hearing he's probably going to get paid $3 million this year. And to be honest, I think he deserves it after what we were able to do in 2025. And I hope he stays around for a while. As EJ said, we might lose him to a head coaching job, or he may want to go back to the NFL. But I do think continuity is big. And, losing Jim Knowles, a lot of people were nervous. A lot of people weren't real sure about the hire. But I don't think anybody is questioning it now after what he was able to do in year 1 and almost, winning the Broyles Award as, he was a finalist for it and almost won it in his first year as an assistant head coach after not even being in college football for 25 years. So I think he was excited to get back to, sometimes these guys that were head coaches coming back and just being able to coach and develop and mentor and get these young kids, coached up on their position and their job and being around the youth, it reinvigorates them. So I think he enjoyed it, and I think it's going to be helpful to our team to have him back for year 2.
Sean?
I'm excited to see what they're going to do next year. I mean, if you look, I think we only had 3 starters from. Last year we only had 3 starters coming back. So, it's same old thing for Matty P. I think it's money well spent. Great to have him come back again, and I'm excited to see where he's going to take the defense, because he's great at just not running a system. He will actually, he adjusts to the talent that he has. He just doesn't try to hammer a square peg into a round hole. He takes our guys and what they're good at, and he runs a scheme off of that. So I think another great year. The defense, looking forward to it.
Yeah, and it's W Buck 21 says, let's see what Patricia can do rebuilding a defense. He did have possible 4 first-round picks. I believe he can do it. I don't think he's going to shy away from that at all. Like, obviously, I think he's probably sitting here going, man, I can mold these guys in the image that I want them to be now. I think last year he had a lot of guys who, for better or for worse, were in the same system for 3 years under Jim Knowles, and he kind of had to adapt to them. Now he did an A+ knockout job adapting to the talent he had, and let's not shy away from the fact that he had a lot of really good talent on that defense here. But that being said, I think guys like him and EJ, tell me, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like coaches like him love to be able to say, here are the pieces I have, and now I get to put them in to where I think they're going to succeed the most and play my style of defense. Am I right or wrong about that?
Oh, you're absolutely right. That's why I want him to stay at Ohio State for at least over a decade, because he has an opportunity now to get year 2 in his system. Now I could throw a little bit more, because they're able to understand and execute what I need. And that's just a beautiful thing, man. The difference that I thought with him and Jim Knowles, I really feel like the guys like really gravitated towards Matt Patricia more like than they did Jim Knowles. Not saying they didn't like Jim Knowles. I'm not saying that. Sometimes you have coaches who have the capability of like, man, I'm just gonna play my butt off for this. And those players give them their best because they do not want to fail him. I think he does a good job with that. And yeah, like we got 8 positions open, but trust me, we are going to be talking about somebody else we're not even talking about right now. You know what I mean? It's going to be a few players on that defense who's been in that system, and then now, they're going to just be balling out. So yeah, Matt Patricia, hey man, keep doing your thing, brother, because I know we're very, very, very close to bringing back another national championship or two.
The difference between Jim Knowles and Matt Patricia is, I don't know if you played in the streets like we did when I was a kid, or play in the park like I did when I was a kid, EJ, but Matt Patricia is the guy who comes out and says, all right, I'll play. I'll be all-time quarterback with you guys. Jim Knowles is the guy who says, get off my lawn! Like, stay away from me. It's the biggest difference between Jim Knowles and Matt Patricia, man. Nate, dude, you are a defensive guy too, man, if I recall correctly. I have to imagine that you are pretty excited about the fact that Matty P's coming back when it comes to that second year and getting those players more ready for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are going to know, his system. He also, people aren't talking about this as much, but he had a hand in going out and helping select some of these guys out of the portal.
Yeah.
And some of the recruits too. So he's got to get some input now on some of these dudes that are coming in to the 2026 roster, and maybe bring in a few guys that fit exactly what he wants to do and that can do some of the changes that he wants to bring to the system. Because as you mentioned, coming in last year, there wasn't a whole lot of time to completely implement everything he wanted to do. But here, with a full off season, with the entire summer, with the spring, with the recruiting, with the transfers, he's able to bring in guys that fit what he wants to do, and is going to be able to throw a lot more at them. And, I obviously did not play for the Buckeyes, but I did play for the legend Pat Delaney at Ohio Wesleyan. Guy was a coach there for 30 plus years. He was still there. He coached me, the old guy, and was still there until a year ago. So he was the best coach I ever had, and I can tell you that it was just a joy watching him, make adjustments. And that's, I bring it up because that's what I liked the most about Matt Patricia, was if we saw some things in the first half that didn't look too good, with guys, having long drives or sustained drives, he would go in at halftime and say, listen, this is what they're doing. This is what we need to do. These are the changes we need to make. And then boom, you would see in the second half, just domination from our defense. And that's how we were able to go 12-0 in the regular season. So I give him a lot of credit for the way that he was able to adjust, make adjustments and, make changes at halftime based on what, how things went in the first half. And I think we're going to see just more of that in year two with now, as I mentioned, having some of his own guys and having some dudes that, fit what he wants to do.
Yeah. Losing Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs, the leaders of this defense, captains. Do you think the coaching staff already know who the leaders of that defense are, EJ? Is this something that's being developed in the locker room right now, in the weight room, on mat drills, things of that nature? Like, do you think the team's already gravitating towards maybe someone who's kind of taking the bull by the horns already?
Oh, absolutely. Like every team knows like who the true leaders are and who are not, you know. And you got two different types of leaders. You know, you have the vocal leader and then you have the one who's quiet, but his play speaks for itself because he leads by example. And there's nothing wrong with that. Um, you know, any player would love to be in this position right now. Like, hey, you know what? I have an opportunity to come in here and there's a spot open. I could really make, my legacy here at Ohio State and ball out. So, yeah, I think at the end of the day, man, you just got to just do your thing and just see where it goes.
Sean, you played football too, man, and EJ talked about running through a wall for somebody, getting motivated. I had a coach that was that way, man. I would have ran through a brick wall for the guy. What is it about those coaches that you have that kind of can pull it out of you, but at the same time, it's not necessarily like I'm going to do this out of spite because I can't stand the guy, but it's more of like I want to make that person happy. I want to achieve the goals that this guy has laid out for me. What is it about those coaches? What character trait, something maybe that you can point towards that maybe Matt Patricia has?
I think it's the coaches that I want to run through a wall for are the ones that really cared about me, wanted me to get better. Road, would give me a hard time because not because they didn't like me, because they knew I could do better. And, they were always on my butt that, hey, you can do this better. I mean, I had a coach that he played in the NFL for a year. And I tell you what, I loved the guy and I would have ran through a brick wall for him. And it's just like, I didn't want to disappoint him. I did not want to disappoint that guy. And I can see that these players love Matty P and they don't want to disappoint him either.
Yeah. Who was that coach for you, EJ?
Oh man. Ooh, put me on the spot.
Mhm.
I think the first person I think about is Coach D'Antonio because like he was just a big time father leader, like father figure, and most importantly like a big time leader. Um, you didn't want to like upset him, like literally, because he was on your ass, like like crazy. But no, Coach Dino, man, you knew he was giving you his best. He broke down these teams like to the very T of them, right? I'll never forget right before the national championship game. He told us, guys, we already won this game because you guys have put in the work. I promise you. When we do, when we execute all this stuff, after that 60 minutes, you will be national championships. The only thing he lied about was 60 minutes because we all know it went a little bit longer than that.
Did he ever smile, man? Did that guy
yeah.
ever smile? Because he always looked pissed off, man.
Oh man, I'm telling you right now, no, like
No.
but you also wanted to make plays for Dino, right?
Mhm.
Because yes, he did have that look, like you knew you messed up. Forget your position coach. Like he was gonna get on you. So man, it would have to be Coach Dan Antonio for me.
I remember Jim Tressel was asked one time why he didn't have to cuss, rant, and rave, and scream and holler, and he goes, "Because all my coaches do it for me." So,
Yeah, I've heard that too. I've heard that. No, that's a good thing. for sure.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. That's fantastic. All right, I have got a quote from Ryan Day. I'm going to put this on the screen for all of you guys. This is Ryan Day's quote on Matt Patricia. This is what the head coach thinks of the man. I think he's one of the best minds in the game. The experience speaks for himself. Nate, when we see Ryan Day say he's one of the best minds in the game, what is he talking about?
I think he's talking about exactly what we talked about before. He knows how to use the players that he has to fit the scheme that he's got. He knows how to scheme it up based on the abilities of the players he has. And then, as I mentioned before, he knows what's working and what's not working. And he knows what the other team is trying to do. And he knows how to combat that. And that's why I mentioned before, I was very impressed by the defensive changes that he made and the adjustments that he did, not only at halftime, but during the game. Because that's how you can really tell if a coach is good. It's one thing to create a really good game plan. It's another thing to change it up when things are not working or things are kind of working, but not working how you want them to. And obviously Ryan Day, people can say whatever they want to about him, but his record speaks for itself. And this guy knows what he's doing. He's won more games than anybody else that's been active as long as he has. He's got a national championship, which, the guys that we revere as legends, Jim Tressel, Urban Meyer, they both only had one. So he's right there with those guys, and he's got a chance now to go forward and take a step that those other two guys weren't able to do, and that's win a second one. And I think that locking up Matt Patricia, it just shows how much confidence he has in him and how much respect he has for him, because he knows he needs a guy on the defensive side to push the buttons, because we know Ryan Day's background is on offense, and he wants somebody over there he can trust. And I'm not saying he didn't trust Jim Knowles, but we all have heard about some of the issues he had with him. Maybe not personally, but professionally. Jim was a little sensitive, I guess is the nice way that I will say it. He didn't like people, stepping into his meeting room and telling him what to do. And, maybe just a little sensitive is the word I'll use to keep it clean for YouTube. But, Matt Patricia, I think, is open to discussion. But how much discussion do you need to have with a guy who's won 3 Super Bowls and who worked, for almost a decade for Bill Belichick? He understands how defense is played. He understands what needs to be done to stop the other team. And that's why, as I mentioned previously, he just threw out the best defense in college football since 2011 under Nick Saban. So obviously, I think he was happy with his hire. And I think he knew that he was one of the best minds in the game, before he made the hire. And a lot of us, not me necessarily, but a lot of people were questioning this hire when he went out and did it. And I don't think he was at all. I think he knew this was the right guy for Columbus.
Sean, anything you'd like to add to that about the mind of Matt Patricia?
One great thing about Matty P is he also coached offense. He knows what it's like to call plays. So I mean, if he wasn't one of the best minds as a defensive coordinator, Ryan Day wouldn't have hired him. I mean, Ryan Day's a great offensive coordinator, and he knows, who's tough calling plays against, who he wouldn't want to go against. So I mean, it's a no-brainer to lock him up for more years.
Yeah, yeah. EJ, how would you describe Matt Patricia's defense as a defensive guy yourself, man? What like can you put that in like layman terms for those of us who haven't played at the level you have?
I would say very aggressive, they and make big plays. Um, that's a testament to a guy coming in. Like I said, this is his first year, so you have to get these guys to believe in what you're saying and what you're trying to get done, and it showed for itself. They was one of the top defenses in the nation. So as a defensive guy, like if I'm looking whether I'm in the transfer portal or if I'm getting like recruited out of high school, he would be the type of DC I would want to play for because I know he would just make me better. Because at the end of the day, I'm trying to get to become an NFL athlete, or player, I should say. So I would want to know, like, I would want to be around the best minds who've already done it at a very like great level on that level. So, yeah, just resilient defenses.
This is a quote from Ross Bjork, athletic director Ross Bjork. It was in the Columbus Dispatch about keeping Matt Patricia on this roster. He says he was always committed to staying here. I think that is a very interesting quote from Ross Bjork. He was always committed to staying here. I know his family loves it. His kids have fit in well. We just kept a constant dialogue before we got to an agreement with him. So that last part is we just kept talking to his agent, and he kept just deal with the agent. I imagine Matt Patricia just being like, dude, I just talk to my agent. I want to stay here. Talk to my agent. But Ross Bjork is admitting that he was always going to stay here. Sean, what do you think about that?
I'm sorry, but whatever Ross Bjork says, I take with a grain of salt. So I mean,
really, you're
I
not
do
a big
think-
Ross fan?
no, I do think that Matty did want to stay, because if he didn't want to, he had plenty of opportunities to go elsewhere. So it's not like we threw $10 million at him to keep him here. I mean, I think the guy's happy where he's at. Doesn't have to be a head coach. Like you said, he's coming from one of the worst places in the world where he was living in Detroit, Michigan, to Columbus, man. It's like going to South Beach compared to, living in the ghetto. So, I mean, he's happy.
Nate, what do you think about Ross Bjork's comments, man?
Yeah, I think it was known that he wanted to come back, and I think one of the reasons he wanted to come back is he's a little bit older now. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's gone out. He had the success initially with the Patriots. He got an offer to become a head coach. Most guys, I don't blame him for doing it, but he took it, and then look what happened. Things didn't really go well. So sometimes, the grass isn't always greener. And that's something I've learned in my own life. You always want to go jump and get the new little shiny thing. And sometimes that shiny thing blows up in your face because it's not right for you. He's found a home that he fits in well. He gets along with Coach Day. He gets along with Coach Johnson, which we know is very important. If you want to stick around Columbus, you better get in touch with LJ, be close and be in touch with LJ, because he's going to be here for the duration. And I think Coach Patricia did that. I think he worked well with Coach Johnson. He worked well with Coach Day. He likes Columbus. He did a good job. This is a good job. It's not like he's not being compensated well. I'd take $3 million to coach football. So, why leave? Why screw this up and go somewhere where maybe it doesn't work out? And as we all know in coaching, if you make the wrong decision and you go somewhere where you're not going to have success, you're out in the street, and then your family has to move. Your kids have to go to a new school. You have to go fight to get your buyout, maybe, and then you're looking for a new gig. So, if everything's working and everything's rolling along just fine, don't rock the boat. Stay where you are getting it done, and stay where you are appreciated. And I think Ross knew that.
EJ, any thoughts on this quote from athletic director Ross Bjork concerning Matt Patricia?
Well, regardless of the factor, he comes in and he inherits some pretty good guys, right? So I'm sure he's already met with everybody, and that was probably something that Matt like expressed to him. So, but regardless of the factor, I just think that it's just good to just have Matt around, and the new AD, he's going to see how stuff works. So hopefully we get a good guy. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully he redeems himself.
Yeah. Let me throw a couple comments and questions up here. Ryan Day's championship beard. How long do you think he will stay? Man, that's a great question. I know Ryan Day said today he hopes he stays for a decade, which I thought was an interesting thing to say, because I'm like, So you're staying for a decade, Ryan? Okay, all right. It was very interesting to say the least. But I don't know. Let's just throw it. Let's throw it out there. Let's just guess. My guess is he's going to stay 2 more years. Sean, what do you think?
I think he'll serve out his contract.
Which would be 2 more years, or is that
2
three?
more years. Or
Three?
3 more years. Is it 3 or is it 2?
The original contract was 3. I assumed that they
That
gave
they
him.
threw an extra year on there.
I would assume they would. I mean,
Yeah.
you would think you would extend it if you were, giving him more money.
Yeah. What do you think, Nate?
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, for all those reasons I just mentioned when I was talking a minute ago, I don't think he's just going to jump at the first opportunity that is given to him. Obviously, if maybe he gets another chance to be a head coach, everybody that is in coaching, more or less, most of them want to be a head coach. Not all of them get a second opportunity, so maybe he won't, but maybe he decides he wants to go back to the NFL. That wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility, but I do think he wants to see this thing through, and I expect him to stay at least 2 or 3 more years. Unless something major comes along, where maybe Vrabel calls him and wants him to come, back to New England or something. But besides that, I think he's probably set in Columbus for another 2 or 3.
Nate just predicted a little Buckeye on Buckeye crime there.
We'll take his Buckeye card for that, Vrabel. Don't even think about it.
You just made Chris blow a gasket sitting at home watching this right now. He's getting ready to do a video on
At
it.
least he didn't say he was going to Notre Dame. So
Yeah, no kidding. Jimmy Christmas, Nader. EJ, you got any thoughts on how long he might stay at Ohio State? I mean, he seems to love it there.
Hey, you know what? If he wins another couple of championships, he can stay as long as he wants because that's how it will be. So I don't want to put a cap on it because we don't know. Like the next 2 or 3 years, let's say he does like end up in the championship game or win one or two or win them all. Like you write your own like destiny as a coach, and he will go down as like one of the best coaches that came through Ohio State, and have all the like the power to make any decision he wants. So yeah, just if he, who can't like who doesn't like Columbus? I truly do love Columbus. I really really do. I call it my favorite city in Ohio, and I'm from Cincinnati, and Cincinnati's beautiful, but it's nothing like Columbus. So his family's there. The family probably loves Columbus as well. So, like I said, you win a couple more championships, man. You can stay as long as you want.
EJ, I'm going to have to pick your brain on why Cincinnati is so hard for Ohio State to recruit. I
You
mean,
know what? That's a good question. Like even when I was getting recruited, right? Like growing up in Cincinnati, yeah, you hear about like Ohio State, like a little bit of stuff, but nothing major. And when I was coming out in '02, actually me and Ryan Hamby, we went to the same middle school, and we almost had a chance to be teammates at Cincinnati Moeller. So like I know he was like kind of a big deal right before me, but then when I came, like that's when Cincinnati like was getting more looked at, I guess. With players coming up because we had
yeah.
a couple other players come up to Cincinnati when I arrived in '02. So I've never understood that. This is one of the best areas for high school football, man. Like I played in the GMC in the high school league, and like the teams that you play, like I played against a lot of guys who played in the NFL, and it's very quiet. So no, I just know, it's a great pipeline, and I'm glad Ohio State, like even when Kerry Combs came up here, that opened up some more doors
It
because
did.
he was a great high school football coach at Cincinnati Coleraine. And fun fact, my sophomore year at Lakota East, I was on a team to give him, playing as a true sophomore, his last loss in conference play because they go on this crazy winning streak, and like more like within the last decade. Coleraine football has really like fell off, but I think they won like 8 9 years without losing another game. So
Wow.
you know, I'm very proud that I got to be a part of history because after that, those guys never lost another game.
Yeah.
You know, he got in trouble coaching down there because they played an ineligible player and they got kicked out of the state tournament the one year.
Mm,
Coleraine did.
mm.
Mm.
Interesting. Notre Dame is really tapping Cincinnati hard right now in
Yeah.
recruiting.
Well,
Absolutely.
and there's a lot of really good, Catholic schools.
Yeah.
In Cincinnati, you got Saint Xavier, you got Moeller,
Princeton.
Prince,
Elder, no, Elder.
yeah,
Princeton
Elder,
is Princeton's a city school.
yeah,
Oh, is it?
Princeton's a public school, but
Public school.
that's another good team. But
Mhm.
a lot of those guys, they have connections with Coach Specht and those guys. From the other Catholic universities, like Luke Kuechly went to St. X, and then he went to Boston College, and some of those guys like to stay in the Catholic school systems, so to
Right.
speak, and that's why it works out. Also, I think sometimes Cincinnati thinks it's a Southern. In the South.
Well, I've got a lot of Cincinnati friends who will say they're not from Ohio. They say I'm from Cincinnati. They
Correct.
don't say I'm from Ohio.
Well,
It's one of the, it's a state all to itself in a lot of ways. And as a Cincinnati Reds fan, like, and I've spent a lot of time in the Queen City, I can tell you once you get down past Kings Island, it's a different mindset down there. They don't look at Ohio State and Columbus like Cleveland does. You
right.
know.
Not at all. Which is crazy. And I remember me and Happy got a chance to go on one of the news stations. I think it was Channel 9 after we won the national championship. So like that was the first time I remember even getting recruited that was even something that Channel 9 was doing. I guess it was because we won the championship. And so we got a chance to do a cool little segment there. But no, they really, really do not. I just don't understand how they don't like really pub it up. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
Weird.
It's very different, and I think that a lot of things. One of the other things about Cincinnati that Ohio State people don't get is just the rivalry between the Cincinnati Bearcats and the Xavier Musketeers, especially in basketball. Man, that is a heated rivalry down there, man. Can you imagine having? I don't know. We'll just use Michigan since they're our rival. Literally across the city of Columbus, if Michigan was put in Pickerington,
Oh my
and
god.
could you imagine?
He
That's what
rumbles.
that's like for those people down there, man.
Yeah, it's
I
a
tell you,
great.
being a Cleveland fan, we always said Cincinnati was Northern Kentucky. So we
Yeah.
did.
Well, you go on the bridge,
Oh,
and you're in Kentucky.
Exactly.
yeah.
And the airport for Cincinnati is in Kentucky, and
Still,
Cincinnati's only about 3 hours from me, in Knoxville. So it's not, it's not far from the South. And that's why Kentucky, recruits Cincinnati hard.
Louisville.
Louisville recruits Cincinnati hard. Tennessee brings guys down from Cincinnati as well. But there's certainly so many good high school football programs, in Cincinnati. It's crazy.
Absolutely.
John, you're gonna make me say "Mistake by the Lake," aren't you? You're gonna make me Sam Weiss this thing, man. Come on. We ain't like them.
You know
That's
what?
some old school stuff right there, buddy.
I tell you
You-
what, if Paul Brown wasn't so stupid, he'd have had Bill Walsh. Bill Walsh wanted to be the coach of the Bengals.
Oh,
And he blew him off. You guys could have had how many Super Bowl champions down there?
more than we have now.
well,
At least you've been there 3 times, though.
honestly, I think what's missing out though, for real, is Cincinnati and Ohio State need to play each other every year. Because when my brother transferred to Cincinnati from coming and losing that championship with Ted and when he got hurt on the kickoff, that Cincinnati team my brother was on with like Marty Gilliard, the quarterback they had, Tony Pike.
Tony Pike.
Yeah, Tony. Actually, when we moved back to Ohio, Tony and Brandon were playing on each other's travel baseball team in like sixth grade. So we known the Pike family for so long. But no, man, they had a great team. You know what I mean? And I want to see a rivalry in both football and basketball because that's just the pride in the state. And Cincinnati and Ohio State. I mean, that's when I think about Ohio, like college teams, those are the first two, Ohio State and Cincinnati, I think about. So there needs to be some type of rivalry, and I feel like they're missing out on that.
Well, they almost beat you guys in 2002. I mean, it came down to the end there, man. And
Yes.
Nate,
Greg Krenzel, baby.
Will Allen had that pick.
Greg, dude, if he doesn't score that, he doesn't go wild on that quarterback keeper and run for a touchdown, I don't think we win that game.
And there's another guy on this podcast right now who had a big breakup in that game too.
Oh yeah.
Is that right, EJ?
Hey, you know what? That Cincinnati game, being a kid from Cincinnati, get a chance to play in like Paul Brown Stadium, that was so real. Like something I will always cherish, and means even more when you have an opportunity to make like impacts and make plays on the field. So, I'm just glad that we won that game for sure, because it's all about bragging rights at the end of the day.
That's it.
I
That's it.
got to tell you, man, Nippert Stadium is actually pretty cool too.
Yes.
Well, Nippert at night is a different animal, dude.
It's loud, man. It's an underrated college football stadium, and people don't think about it and people don't mention it that much. But when Fickle was there and he had things rolling, they won a lot of games at home, and honestly, so did some of the other coaches. Brian Kelly and the boys. They won a lot of games too. So it's a tough place to play.
It is. Lisa says, good evening, Buckeyes. So glad it's confirmed now that Patricia will be back. What is his new contract details? They haven't been released yet, but we're guessing it's going to be upwards of $3 million plus in an extra year. So 3 years, $3 million a year is what we're guessing at this time. Let's see here. I'm behind in the comments pretty bad here, but what I will say, good to see you, Mello. Good to see Mello in the comments as well tonight. Let's go with this audio clip. This is a Ryan Day's being interviewed by good old Dom Taberry of WBNS 10 TV in Columbus, Ohio, on the Cruise for Cancer, and he is asked by Dom about Arthur Smith. So we've talked about the defensive coordinator, Matt Patricia. I want to touch on the offensive coordinator a little bit. This is an audio clip again of Ryan Day talking about Arthur Smith.
All right, it's always football season here. I don't have to tell you that. You've had a busy offseason. Let's talk about the offense, and you've made some hires. You have a coordinator and Arthur Smith. I've been reading about him, and looks like he hit another home run.
Yeah, he's a great guy, a great experience, and we hit it off right away. And I just think he's going to bring so much to the table for our team, and I think Buckeye Nation's really going to like what he brings to the table.
How do you envision all this working with the offense? I know you guys have had some initial meetings and everything.
We're just getting started with that. Our first spring practice is March 10th, and we'll get going with the plan. But Arthur's been around great players. He's been around great teams. Obviously when he was in Tennessee, what he did there, and then went on to be the head coach with the Atlanta Falcons, and then most recently with the Steelers. But before that, he was very much involved in the NFL, but also had a great history of following college football. So he's excited to get into the college game. He's been fun to be around, and so now you have two coordinators. You have two former head coaches in the NFL. So there's a lot of experience there, and we know that's something that these guys are going to bring different perspectives to the table. And when you have credibility like that, it certainly makes a difference when these guys start with their first practice.
So Ryan Day, interesting to get his first public, I guess you could say public answering questions about Arthur Smith publicly for the first time. And he talks about credibility. That was the big word that he mentioned there that jumped out to me, Sean, was the credibility that Arthur Smith is bringing as the offensive coordinator, as a former head coach in the NFL, as a former play caller in the NFL. Again, mirroring what he's doing on the defensive side in Matt Patricia. Great success last year on that side of the ball. Hoping for the same success on the offensive side of the ball, bringing in a former head coach of the NFL and play caller. Your thoughts on what he said there about Arthur Smith?
Well, I think he found somebody that he could trust, that he can hand a play calling off to, that he knows that he's not going to have to worry about the offense, that it's taken care of. Just like with Matt Matty P. Matty P has the whole defense taken. He doesn't have to worry about Matt Patricia. He doesn't have to worry about Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith is going to go in there and he's going to take care of the offense. And Ryan Day can be the CEO, and he's not going to have to worry about calling plays or having to be in the offensive room the whole time. Like probably last year he had to spend more time because Hartline was, a first year coordinator. With Arthur Smith's seen it all and done it all, man. So I mean, he was a head coach in the NFL for a while. So I mean, he's already got that credibility. So those kids are going to listen to him.
Yep. Nader, what's your thoughts, man?
Yeah, same. I think that the formula worked, right? He went out and found a guy that was very successful as a defensive coordinator in the NFL, and then also got an opportunity to be a head coach. So he understands what Ryan Day has to deal with. He understands what his job is, and he knows how to do it. Not only does he have credibility, but he's got experience. He's got experience at the college level. He's got experience at the NFL level. He's got experience as a head coach. So he kind of sees everything from both sides of it, I think. And, this is a guy kind of like Patricia that wants to reinvent himself. Things didn't go as well as he would like when he got his head coaching opportunity in Atlanta, just like Patricia in Detroit. So I think he wants to come here at a place that is very visible. As we've discussed many times, there is a lot of eyeballs on Ohio State football at all times. And, it's where, the three biggest, most watched football games of the college football season last season were all three of them involved Ohio State. So if you want to reinvent yourself, you want to get your name back out there, coming here and having success is a great way to do it. And this guy's had success before. I mean, anybody that can make Ryan Tannehill look good has to be a tremendous play caller. I'm not trying to make fun of the guy, but I'm saying if you look at Ryan Tannehill in Miami, who looked like poop, and then you look at him, his first several seasons in Tennessee, it looked like a different guy. And, you can give some credit to Ryan because I think he worked hard and got better as a quarterback and learned from his misgivings in Miami. But he also had a play caller that knew what Ryan Tannehill's strengths were. And I think that's what he will bring to the table here in Columbus. He'll be able to watch tape. He'll be able to look at practice and know what Julian Sand does well and what the team does well. And then he'll call plays accordingly. And as we mentioned, a couple of weeks ago, he knows how to stack plays. He knows how to call certain plays to see what the defense does. And based on that, he'll run plays off of that and have success with it.
Yeah. EJ, what's your thoughts on Arthur Smith coming in as the new OC at Ohio State there, and Ryan Day's thoughts on him?
I think coming down from the NFL, you take a little bit of pressure off yourself. This is almost like kind of like a reset. He's been to a couple destinations, and regardless of the factor, they struggled, especially in the offensive side at Pittsburgh, because I pay attention to all that. But he's a great mind, though. So you come down to the college level, implement your scheme, what you want, and get the best out of Sand, because he's a tremendous talent. He's probably going to be super excited because he gets another NFL mind in the building. And as a college player, oh man, that's all you want, because your dream is to get to the next level and be successful. So whatever kinks that he needs to work out by the time he becomes a pro, all that's going to be good. So he'll just keep excelling. So I'm excited for him, and I hope him great success on the offensive side. Let's see what he brings to the table.
Yeah, that's a great point. All right, a couple questions here at the end of the show. W Buck 21. What other college head coach is able to bring in former NFL coaches and head coaches to the college rank? His name was Nick Saban.
Yeah.
And he's no longer in the college game. He's the only one. I don't know of another coach in college football that has the cachet of a Nick Saban that can do what Ryan Day did. Name me one. It's not Dabo Swinney.
No.
No, I mean, I think
Kirby, maybe.
at Georgia could probably bring in somebody, but Kirby's got a different personality than Ryan Day.
Do tell, Nate.
Kirby's he's kind of a D head, and he knows it.
Okay.
But it works for him. It works for him, and I'm not going to sit here and say the way he treats people is wrong. But he's just a little bit more edgy. He's a little bit more aggressive in the way that he handles his coaches and his people than say Ryan Day. And I'm not sure it would work for Coach Smart. And why I say that is Coach Kirby likes things his way. Okay, he wants it his way or the highway, and I'm saying that from hearing it from his players and from people that worked for him. He doesn't like people to kind of take their own initiative and implement their own style on his team. It's his team, and everybody knows it. And Coach Day, I think, is a little bit lax with that. I mean, obviously, Coach Day is the guy in charge, and everybody knows that. But I think he's okay with people bringing in ideas to him on how things could be done differently or how things could be done better. I'm not so sure Kirby's down with that. And we haven't really seen him bring in, like an NFL head coach on his staff. He's brought guys with NFL experience. But, have we seen – do I think it would work if Kirby brought in two former NFL head coaches to be his two coordinators? I think that would be a lot of ego that Kirby may not like.
Mm. Yeah. What about Steve Sarkisian?
I could see Steve doing it.
He would try.
I think he would try because, let's be honest, Steve's got a lot of pressure on him right now, especially with all the money that they have spent on players. I mean, heck, look at the money they've spent just on their quarterback position. Arch is making, close north of $10 million himself. And then they were extremely active in recruiting, bringing in 5-star guys. They were extremely active in the portal, spending over, $15 to $20 million. And so it's win now. I think he would do whatever it takes to win. But he's also a guy that doesn't want to give up the play calling.
Yeah.
And
I just came up with a guy who would.
Who do you think?
Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Duh. That one, he would definitely. But if he's still,
how long is he going to be there, though?
One more year.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be there a whole lot longer. Just because things went so wrong in year one, and I'm not sure they have the dudes to turn it around in year two.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Great question here. Actually, it's a statement. Great statement. It takes a lot of self-confidence from a leader to allow other good leaders to come in and work with you. Some leaders are threatened by that. That's 100% true. Yep. Yeah. That is 100% true.
Absolutely.
So I think that's a testament to Ryan Day.
Oh yeah.
That his ego isn't to the point where he's like feels threatened by these other guys, but actually he's like, I can learn from them, and it's all about winning a national championship. Let us not forget, ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Day is on the cusp of doing something that Urban Meyer, Jim Tressel, and even Coach Brown didn't do, and that's win 2 national championships at Ohio State. The only one who has ever won more than one was Woody Hayes. He won 5. So he could become, in some people's minds, if winning a national championship's all that matters, the second greatest Ohio State coach of all time, just by winning one more. Who cares if those coordinators are former head coaches and from the NFL? Like I don't. They could be from the CFL for all I care. If we win a national championship, at a boy, you know what I mean? So, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. I think it speaks volumes about Ryan Day, about, bringing in the best coaches to help you win. He doesn't care where you're from. Like you said, he'd go to the CFL. I mean, some of these other coaches, they got too big of an ego to admit that, they need help. So, I mean, awesome for him to do it. And, we've seen it where he's hired people and it hasn't worked out. He's not afraid to make changes, and he'll fire them. So.
You know who was incredibly confident and didn't have an ego? Jim Tressel. That guy is. I can't tell you how much I love Jim Tressel, EJ.
He's my favorite coach of all time by far.
You got a good Jim Tressel story, EJ, before we answer this last question?
Oh man, so many. And I know Coach Tresh probably got some good stories about me too. No, honestly, like the thing about Tresh, when I first went into his team meeting, he took it very serious because he came to my parents' house, him and Coach D'Antonio, and he said, he's going to take care of me, and the life lessons and the things that he implemented and that he taught us, I still use to this day. Like, for instance, if the meeting starts at 8 o'clock and you show up on the meeting, you're late. You know, get there 10 minutes early. Look, at least 10 minutes early. I think he used to say 5, but I extended that to 10. You know what I mean? Just to make sure.
Don't want to cut it close, man.
Yeah, I'm not playing around because life happens, like you just never know. So it's just like examples like that, man, that really sticks like to my heart, because it helped develop me as a man. And I just want to like pass them off to my like nieces, nephews, family members, or whoever I need to, and my kids, because just always being a good person too. That's what he preached to. So like our recruiting class changed Ohio State, I feel like, because before then there was taking a lot of people who were just like just ruthless and quote unquote thugs, and we took like guys who had good character, good people both on and off the field. And that's the way he will always be known, like changing the culture at Ohio State. Hell, we didn't even sing the fight song until Coach Tresh came in after the game. And look at it now. He's been gone, and that's still a thing. So he came in and he changed the culture, and just to play for him, man, that was totally awesome and a blessing.
Yeah. You still have your winner's manual?
Oh, my mom does. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, like my mom, she has both me and Brent a lot of our stuff because we moved around so much.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to take a chance, especially my college stuff, of that getting lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
But the winner's manual, yes, it's in the stores for sure, but we still got it.
Good. That's you cherish that thing, man. Last question. Do you think this is from our boy T? Do you think Ryan Day had this initial plan when he first got hired as head coach long before this? I do not. I think it evolved to this.
I
You guys
agree.
agree?
I think it evolved to it.
Yeah. I think he was learning how to be a head coach. I'm not sure how much of a plan he actually had other than leaning on Urban Meyer and Chip Kelly, his mentor, Um, I'll say this though. I think one of the first things he did as a head coach, if you guys remember, is he went out and got Justin Fields.
Yeah.
That's not a bad decision as a head. What's your plan? Go get that guy.
That was a good plan. That was a good plan. That guy could do pretty much everything at the quarterback position, and he saw that talent, in high school, and also, just the limited action that he saw at Georgia. I think he was like, that guy can do what I want a quarterback to do. He can run it, he can throw it, he can lead the offense, he can manage the team. And look how much success he had with Justin. And I think that was huge. But I definitely think he's evolved into where he is now. I don't, winning that title is huge, because once you got that, you got not only, I think he had credibility before that, but let's be honest, Buckeye fans are pretty pissed unless you win a national championship every year. And so once he got that title, he's got the ability to kind of go outside the box a little bit more. And that's where, he's kind of moved into this rehabilitating old NFL head coaches. And, it's worked so far.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got to give the guy credit, man. That's his first ever head coaching job, man. I mean, a lot of these other guys, they've been coordinators for a long time. Then they go to like Bowling Green or, Toledo and learn on the job, man. He had no learning he just got thrown into it, man.
Yeah. It's we've all been said that Ohio State's not a place where you learn on the job, whether that be coordinator or head coach. And And Ryan, and I know a lot of people have always been a little bit irritated by that Gene Smith didn't actually go out and do a coaching search. But I think given the situation and where Urban was at, and the fact that Urban was basically giving his public approval to Ryan Day, and a lot of Buckeye Nation was automatically going to listen to whatever Urban said when it came to that. So it's all turned out for the good. We won a national championship 2 years ago. A lot of people think Ohio State is the best team in college football. At least Josh Pate does. Josh Pate's on this Ohio State love train. I don't know if you guys have noticed. Today or last night on his episode, he said Ryan Day's the best coach in college football. So he called Ohio State the king of college football a week ago, and now he's saying Ryan Day's the best coach in college football. And Josh Pate is not on the Christmas card list for anybody in Ann Arbor, that's for sure. Guys, it's been a good show tonight. Thank you so much for pulling double duty tonight. Sean, Nate, EJ, thank you so much, guys. We'll do this again, guys. This is a pretty good roundtable, pretty good panel. EJ, thank you so much for offering us your insights on Cincinnati and your time with Ohio State, man. Appreciate that. We'll love to have you back on again. Guys, have a good night. If you haven't already, smash that like button. We're going to head on over to Patreon. At least some of us might head on over to Patreon, where we're going to do the super secret show. Link is in the description below. If you're not a member of Patreon, please consider going and doing so that we can have a good time. Because guess what? The gloves come off, the family rating comes down, and we get to say whatever we want now. So we'll see you over on Patreon, everybody. Have a good night.
See ya.